Hi everyone, Rich Kratzer, DIY Home and Lawn Care on my estate. You're watching this video because you're having a problem with the fuel door on a Ford F-150 pickup. I'm going to show you how to actually do this repair with a couple simple tools, Phillips screwdriver, some painter's tape, and also 1/16 inch drill bit. The reason for the drill bit is because not only are we going to fix this problem, but we're going to prevent it from happening again. I already watched all the other videos out there. I can tell you this is the one that you want to watch. I've watched one where the guy actually tried to pry this assembly out and he wound up scratching his paint on the truck. I watched another one where they didn't protect this side. Not only did he damage the fuel door, but he damaged the side of his truck. Third video I watched, he did fix the problem. But this is the second time I'm doing this, and it will happen again, but he's not preventing it from happening again. It's a flaw in the design with this truck. I'm gonna show you in about 15 minutes how to not only fix it, how to not damage your truck, but also how to prevent it from happening again. So here's what happens. You open the door and all of a sudden you notice it starts making a louder popping noise, which is a spring in there. And then all of a sudden, one day when you go to close it, you think the spring is broke because now it's not holding pressure against it. Here's how I know it's gonna happen. Listen. Hear that? Oh, guess what? Time to fix it. So here's the first thing you're gonna do. You're gonna take some painter's tape and you're gonna put it to the hinge side of the fuel door. And the reason for that is when you pop this assembly, you don't want this door to scratch the truck. So I'm actually gonna put a little extra for safety. My truck's 11 years old and it looks like it's brand new. That's gonna protect it. Second thing is there's an easy fueler ring here. You're gonna want to remove this, and this simply just snaps on. So you can just go in and it snaps right off. Next thing you're gonna do is there's 3 screws here. We're gonna remove those. One thing I like to do is I put a little paper towel there, just in case I get stupid and drop a nut in there. This is an 8mm socket. So this fuel neck just floats inside this housing once you remove those 3 bolts. A lot of people are tempted to go ahead and put something behind here like a screwdriver or something plastic to pry in here. You do not want to do that. I'll show you where the fueler neck connects. You don't have to disassemble that, but there is 4 tabs on this plastic housing. This is all one assembly. There's one tab about 2 o'clock, another one around 4 o'clock, another one maybe around 7, 8 o'clock, and this last one's probably around between 10 and 11 o'clock. If you reach up behind the wheel well, you can actually feel those tabs. All you have to do is push those tabs in from the inside. Once you get the 2, you can slide this assembly out. Let me show you the fuel filler neck and where you'd have to reach behind. Right here, this is the vent line, and right here, let me reach behind. This is the fuel filler neck. It's a little hard holding the camera, but I'm gonna reach behind right here, and I'm gonna push on 2 tabs, one here and one here. And this whole assembly should pivot out. There's one. The one up on top can be a little tricky. There it is. I'll see if I can get in behind, do the... There we go. Here's why I say put that tape. I just have to get it off the fuel neck right there. There it is. Here's the culprit, not the spring, but actually this shaft. This spring is what's keeping the pressure in the door. But if you notice, the shaft isn't moving. This shaft is actually grooved, so it stays in place. Right now, what you have to do, and this is probably the trickiest part, is remove this spring. Just remember how you put it in. Here's the shaft. Let me take this out. You just wiggle it. There you go. Try to show you a close-up view. It's actually grooved. And what will happen after a while, if you don't do this permanent fix, you'll start to wear this down. It's like a little keyway. So it goes down. So it gets to the keyway, boom, right there. What happens is this will start to work its way up over time every time you close the fuel door, and there it won't make contact. What we're going to do now is we're going to put a permanent fix to this. But what I'm actually going to do in the center is I'm going to drill a 1/16 inch. I'm going to use a 1/16 inch drill bit. I'm going to use a stainless steel sheet metal screw with a washer. It's going to prevent this shaft from going below where the hinge point is. I'm going to take my 1/16 inch drill bit. It looks like there's a little center punch there. Just go down about a 1/4 inch. That's it. I'm not saying you have to do this, but just spray a little silicone in here. This is plastic on plastic, and a little silicone never hurts. Go. Put that back in. Remember, this can only go in one way. Boom. Push it all the way down, and you see there's barely a little tab sticking up. Now what we're going to do, this is a 440 sheet metal screw. It's a little stainless steel washer I had sitting around, and we're going to put that screw in where we just drilled, and it's going to expand this out, but it's also going to prevent that post from sliding up. Putting that little screw in that little hole. Just needs to be a little snug. That's a little too tight. Back off on a little. Make sure it opens smoothly. Now you're going to want to reattach the spring. Easiest way to reattach the spring, you actually come from the front. Let me show you again. So take the spring, hold it like this. That little tag end. Put it through and come around. Now, this part, the little U, will actually go over this post. This is probably the hardest part. Second hardest. could always use a little needle nose pliers to make that easier, but there you go. Now, check the fuel door. Stays open, stays closed. Let's get this installed. So now we're just gonna reverse the process. I'm gonna have the fuel door open, take this part, put it behind, close the fuel door just ever so slightly so you can start working it in. What I'm doing is that I'm lining the fuel neck in that little housing. There it is. It's centered. So you're going to put your screws back in. Make sure you start by hand tightening first. These are fine threaded, so you don't want to just put your socket on and start tightening in case you cross thread it, because that bracket is on the inside on the fuel filler line, and I have no idea what that would cost to replace if you cross thread it. So I start it, snug these down. Don't forget to remove your tissue. Again, put your easy fuel filler retainer back on. That simply snaps into place. Close your door and remove your tape. Works. So hopefully you learned something, because I know I did. And hopefully you found this video very informational, because if you go ahead and compare how I did this repair to other videos that are on the internet, I got this done in less than 15 minutes and I did not damage the truck at all. And I know the fix that I did perform, it's going to be permanent. Now, there is one thing you could probably do. When I put the 440 screw in, you could probably put a little epoxy to prevent that screw from ever backing out. I highly doubt that it will, but that is an extra step that you could do. I'd like to thank you for watching. I always appreciate if you could send me a comment, because I like to get your feedback and input. If you can support the channel and smash that subscribe button, so much the better. Thank you again. God bless you. Catch you on the next one.